Okay, thanks, Lenerd. Just another question about your business days is you always seem to have a connection to your intuition, or you were able to see the future.
Yeah, it's intuition always played a big part for me in 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 my life, and I didn't call it a voice then, like I call it in my book, when I sold everything, bought a backpack, and went overseas and traveled the world for 5 years, and this journey of learning and awakening. Um, I just followed this knowing, this intuition I had. Even in advertising days, I would look at different adverts that the guys would bring to us, the creative ad agency, and I would just intuitively know, wow, that one is going to work. And we had ways of testing it. We had ways of measuring the return per advert. So I was almost always right. And that didn't come from the business studies and all the legal studies or the learning in-house in the business. We had a beautiful lot of training and stuff, but it came really from that place. It came from that inner voice, that inner guidance system. And so it's interesting when you go like full circle and you're at the whole 5-year journey, and I then look back at like the business days. It's like, wow, it was always there. The whispers were always there. The voice was always there. Maybe I didn't call it a voice, I just said it was intuition. And funny enough, in business, I just followed it. That's why I believe and I say that business is very spiritual. Follow your gut feel, follow the intuition, follow the voice. And sometimes what seems logically the right thing may not be. So dropping into a deeper space, dropping into your heart space, um, um, really is really important. For running the business, not just from an opportunity point of view and knowing what things would work and what way to go, but also from the people side, the people that are in your business and the people that you're working with, to operate from intuition, from a heart-centered space, and even with customers. You don't want to just make money out of customers, but you want to add value to customers. It must come from that place. It can't come from the money place. It has to come from, am I going to add value? And then if you add tremendous value, then the money just flows naturally.
And it seems like a challenge to bring business and spirituality together. Like, where do those two worlds meet?
Yeah, it's fascinating. In my journey, so I was very much business orientated for many years, and in the last 7 years on the spiritual journey. And the start of the spiritual journey, I had the question, okay, how am I going to bridge these two worlds? And now I realize, obviously towards the end of that, I realized that it's obviously not two worlds; it's just one world, and that it's actually very intertwined. It's actually really intertwined, and it's that you can't have like your business life and your spiritual life. That doesn't work. It's actually all intertwined, and whatever you do in your business space must be grounded in whatever you do so you bring all of that to your whole life, to all aspects of your life. So whatever heart awakening you have, whatever integration of your masculine and feminine energies you have, bring that into the business space. That's really powerful, and so it's a beautiful journey I'm on now. It's been 7 years of learning and all around the world, learning a lot of cool stuff, and awakening to all this amazing stuff and energies and stuff that's around us. And now it's actually getting back into a space of not getting back. It's also integrating that with now looking at also more on the how can I say, in the material side, the physical side, the commercial side, the business side. So I'm really looking at how I'm going to bring all of this stuff now to the world and the learnings. And obviously there, important to drop into what works and how do I get it out. And that's where some the business kind of part kind of comes back in. But it's really one thing, to be honest.
What I'm seeing, what you're talking about at the moment, is really, like you say, the masculine and the feminine energies. But you made this drastic shift. Like, you were very strong in your masculine, fucking a lot, doing well in business. Isn't that quite crazy and energetic? and then on this journey went completely into the receptive and the feminine and learning that part. And now it's a space of integration of the masculine and the feminine energies.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think the last 7 years was a lot of that, and being aware of that integration. But it's amazing. It's like it's not a linear journey. It's this round, circular, spiral journey. And I actually now realize, So in my book, the book has been published like almost a year ago, 9 months ago. And in my book, I write a lot about this. And now it's almost like there's another shift 9 months later. I'm like realizing, but wow, wait a moment. Yes, I was operating in a big way from masculine energies, results driven in business days and fucking a lot of women, it's like penetration, masculine energy. But to be honest with you, the way I ran the businesses was actually very much connected to my feminine energies. The empathy part we spoke about earlier, being connected to the people from a heart space. All of that existed. And it's always there. It wasn't like it wasn't there. It's just, I'm just now aware, and I maybe give it a name, masculine, feminine, yin, yang, whatever. But it's always been there. It was there. And funny enough, not even funny enough, but also connecting with women. So yes, I had women at my place, but why did they come back? I was connecting actually with my feminine energies in terms of that space. So there was also, even though it wasn't a relationship space and it was a lot about sex and drugs and jacuzzis, there was also connection happening. There was a lot of connection happening. So that, people really loved being, there, and I loved being with them. And so I realize now that actually I've been using those feminine energies a lot, and maybe, sometimes good not to give it a name or tag it as something, because that could be confusing to a lot of people. But definitely the energies of, let's say, being in your, feeling the emotions of other people and being in your heart space and, being compassionate and, being in high empathy. Even at the crazy Clifton Day parties, I was very much operating from that space. Interesting.
But now you have awareness, so awareness and consciousness just means awareness. So now you're just aware of when you're moving in between the receptive energies to the penetrative energies. You can feel them.
No, sure. And the awareness brings you a lot more power, because now you can consciously decide which you want to use where, and which is most appropriate in which case. In some cases, the penetrative masculine energy get to a result is vital, it's important. In some cases, you want to be more open and surrendered to life. That goes for men and women. So I think the awareness definitely does bring extra, not just power, but extra fun, extra playfulness, extra curiosity to it all.
And just the idea of jump. That people sometimes feel, I jump and I have to leave everything and leave my job, or, you go from one extreme to the other, which is what you did. But that's maybe not always necessary, is it?
No, exactly. I mean, I say that to everyone that I come across, and it was actually a foreword in the book, and we kind of took it out, but maybe in a later edition, so I don't know, maybe put it back. Well, maybe not. Maybe it's good just reading the story. But yeah, it was very much about that. The foreword was really much about saying, you don't have to leave your job, your wife, your kids, your husband, your country to go on this journey. It's not a travel journey. It's not an outside journey. Now, I did it in this very extreme way, and I'm kind of a bit of extreme personality. But also doing it in an extreme way allowed me to really drop in deep. So for me, it was the right thing. I was kind of really bored with what I was doing, and I think it was time for something new. And now I'm expanding into a new way of living and a new way of business, or my next career, or whatever. So it makes all perfect sense now. But for most people, that's totally unnecessary and totally impractical to do that, and it's not necessary. You can keep your job and your income and your wife and your whatever, without doing any of this, this massive kind of, and still doing the journey. So it's a journey. It's a journey within. It's a jump within. It's dropping into your heart. It's like following your truth, listening to the voices, listening to the soul, listening to God, listening to existence, following your truth. And we all know what our truth is. We hear it the whole time. We just often ignore it. And that journey and that jump you can do without leaving anything. And it's also not just jump. I continuously find myself jumping, So it's got to be small things, I feel I should be doing that. I should be approaching that person, but I feel shy or want to be rejected, and then jump into it. It could be small things. So it's a continuous journey of jumping.
Yeah. And just again on this whole consciousness movement, on the sexuality field as well as business, and I'm going back to this idea of jumping. I think people so often almost go over too far to the one side, like men will become too soft and too concerning and too gentle, that we can't feel their masculine side anymore. And the same with business, that people think, oh, money is bad, I'm going to become spiritual and renounce all of this. The monk who sold his Ferrari. But to bring that integration of these energies.
Exactly. On both those fronts that you mentioned, like the men, let's say, in a sexual context with the women, and then also like in a business front, very much so, Yeah, so I've seen around the world, doing this journey, that so many men, jump into this feminine part, and then because the masculine part has got such a bad rep, and it got really being pounded on a bit, and but beaten down. The guys are so scared to be masculine that they they drop totally into the feminine, and it's good to drop into the feminine, but you also need to drop into your masculine. Now, sometimes it is good to give a woman a proper fuck, but you can't really do that totally from your feminine. You need the masculine energy to do that. And sometimes it's open to be very receptive and to be properly fucked by a woman and be more surrendering. But if you can't actually be in your masculine and actually penetrate, and with consciousness and awareness and focus and energy, then she's not going to see your masculine. She's not going to feel the masculine. She's not going to open to the masculine. So I think I see that a lot, actually, especially in the consciousness circles, where the guys get very feminine, and there's nothing wrong with that, But if you want to interact with a woman on a full integrated way, you need both energies. And then in the business or spiritual space also, a lot of people go and say, wow, yes, now I'm going from this journey, and money is all bad, and the corporate is all bad, and the career is all bad, and not at all. I mean, money is just energy, like any other energy. Business is just a energy, entity, like any other entities. So, a lot of spiritual people are very poor people because they push the money away, because money is this evil thing. I'm not too spiritual, and often what happens is that they're actually probably more in their ego than the richest business guy. The ego is very clever, You leave the money world and now you become the spiritual world, and then, I'm going to be this big spiritual guru, and then, and I know money is bad. So it's such a journey of being so aware constantly of that and of the ego. And it's not, we need the ego, it's important. Like Dr. Bol said to me in Guatemala at the lake when I was there, we need our ego, otherwise we wouldn't wipe our bum. So there's a space for it. Yeah.
Fascinating. I think that was really beautiful. This is one thing that I just want to say again. I would like you to say again, because every time you say it, there's like this spark in your eye when you speak about the people that used to work for you, and what really turned you on about your team and the way you were working with them. Can you just say that again?
I just loved it when people exploded in their potential. It just gave me such a kick, and if I look back at the business days now, that's why I was successful, and that's why the businesses were successful. I had a knack of getting the right people around me, and then I had a knack of really, them just loving working there, and would run through walls for the business and for me and for the team and so on. And I was sometimes surprised by that, and to be quite honest, that I was sometimes, why are people like this? And now on this journey, and I looking back, I realized, but that's that's what I did. I actually operated from a heart space with the people. So, and that's where a lot of people, maybe misunderstand something, or like the jump journey, you were this bad guy, this good guy. That's all nonsense. we don't really change. We just drop the layers, we're just conditioning. We arrive here beautiful and innocent and pure, and then there's a lot of layers putting on, which is fine. And then we just drop the layers, So in business days, that's very much. I really love that. I loved, the money was a consequence. The money was just a secondary thing. The business success was just secondary. It was about really the people in the business, seeing those guys and developing them and seeing them reaching their potential, and not just from a people point of view, from a client point of view, but also from a customer point of view. So with what energy are you going out there to see, okay, how can we make a quick buck and how much money we can make out of X number of people, or are you going out there with the energy of, I want to add as much value as I can, and that's a massive difference. There's a massive energy difference, and it's a massive return difference. The moment you add massive value, it's just abundance. The money will flow into the business, and I understand that much better now than I did in the business days. I wish I kind of got it there, but now I really have a very, very sharp awareness about this, and it's beautiful to look at it from many years down the line, to look at it from that perspective and to really see the power of businesses in the future. And I think that's where things are going. Profit is going to become a secondary thing. I know that's controversial to many business people, but I tell you now, that's where we're moving. We're moving to a world where it's going to be about value creation. That's the main thing, and about people. Must get emotional, expressing themselves and expressing their truth, living their truth. That's the world we're living in, we're moving towards. And in that world, there will be abundance.
But it's going to take quite some time, the shift, hey?
No, I'm not too sure anymore. In my book I said it will change in my lifetime. And 7 months later, we have this whole situation in the world, with the virus happening. I kind of predicted this type of massive changes in the world. I obviously don't know it was a virus. I just knew there were going to be massive changes happening. And damn, man, that's like within 6 months after the book was out, these things are changing. So in a way, I've been preparing myself for all of this that's happening now for the last 7 years, But I can see an acceleration happening. I really think it's not that long. I really think, and what is long? 10 years, 50 years, 100 years, I don't know. It's all relative. Time is all relative, isn't it? But I think we're going to see massive changes in our lifetime. I really think the next 10 years we're going to see massive changes. And that's not to say it's, Manskin and Rose, it's not to say it's just going to be all beautiful, flowery stuff and wonderful stuff. In the process to get there, we'll see a lot of volatility. We see a lot of disruption, a lot of stuff happening. So those energies are going to balance and need to balance and stuff. But it's fine. If he's very close to something, you see you can't really see the detail. You just see the up and the down. Only when you go further away from the picture, you see the beauty of the picture, and you see, oh, there's the trend. If you're right here, you see the graph just like this, or the painting just like this. You can't really. The moment you look at it from a further distance, you can see the whole beauty of it. And I think that's where we're going. So don't be. I always say, don't be fooled about the stuff that's happening in the world. Don't be fooled by social distancing. All of this stuff. It's just a way of teaching us. For example, that specific thing. It's teaching us how to connect again and to value connection again, and to drop into intimacy and vulnerability. And I see that accelerating. I see that's going to happen. I see that really speeding up quite a lot.
Thanks, Lenerd.
Thank you. It's beautiful.